Like, I got the task of flying Connor McDavid to his hometown in Edmonton. I'm like, no pressure there. Guy's so good.
2 Argentinian pilots were fired and lost their pilot licenses because they let a Playboy playmate fly the plane.
Oh no. I would have done it. You do realize that it was probably on autopilot the whole time.
Oh, it was, but
those planes literally fly themselves.
I know, but it was still, they let a civilian take the handles.
They fly themselves because I learned how to fly the simulators when I was in Denver working with United Airlines. Fly those guys, sponsor us. Anyway, they said they take off and they land by themselves, like during fog and stuff, whatever. But the interesting concept is you don't need a pilot. Would you get on a plane without a pilot?
No. Yes.
I wouldn't.
100%.
I would not. I wouldn't do it.
After that crazy dude in Germany was like, I'll be the sand, and then hit a mountain, I was like, yeah, no more no more pilots. We don't need that pilot.
What's so fucking funny, giggly bits?
With it.
This is the inaugural episode of NYR Breakdown. If you don't know what NYR means, it stands for the New York Rangers.
Yes, it does, Mike. And welcome.
This won't be the Chris Farley show.
Yeah, this is the Chris Farley show. But before, had a little bit of trouble. We're going to explain it really, really quickly. We were previously
Called something else.
I don't even know if we could say it on air.
I'm not going to bother. We were called something else. Someone didn't like it, and they told us to stop.
It was another actual professional hockey team that threatened to sue us if we didn't change the name. But
so we obliged and changed.
I don't make nearly enough money to get sued by a giant corporation.
Yeah, corporation money or ShopRite money.
Exactly. Yeah. Trying to move up in the world. Anyway, a lot happening, and we figured, last time we did a lot of writing, which we're still going to do, but
sure.
We figured we'd do a little audio. I mean, who doesn't like to be at work and not work and listen to people talk about the Rangers? And Mike's raising his hand because he loves to do that. In fact, half the articles he writes are at work.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but he used to be at work. First thing we're going to talk about, obviously, big move, Cam Talbot getting moved. I mean, what do you think?
Glenn Sather, you fucked up.
Yeah, he
was turning down offers for multiple second-round picks, trying to get a first-round pick. Now, I thought Edmonton's 16th overall pick was in play. If it was, and he held out for it, and it just fell through, I'm not that upset about it. But if you're getting down to it, you got to take what you can get, because you end up with a second, a third, and a seventh from the same team that you thought was offering you a first-round pick.
I'll tell you a little just real quick story about what happened. It was my dad's birthday. I was out at the restaurant with him, having a nice ribeye cheesesteak, delicious. But we asked to put the draft on, and they did. They obliged. But there was no sound on, so the subtitles were on. And I saw the 16th pick, and I'm like, look, I'm looking at the TV. And they said, there's a trade. I'm like, oh, yeah, they got it. And then I look, and in the subtitles, like, a trade to the New York. I'm like, yeah. And in the restaurant, I went, yeah. And then they said Islanders. Like, I literally went, what? And everyone, the waitress stared at me, and I was like, and I like bit my napkin because I didn't want to like yell or whatever. But anyway, do I think the Rangers got what he was worth? Absolutely. I think he could have gotten more,
right.
But I believe Glenn Sather really tipped his hand by saying, hey, I want a first rounder for him. Yeah. But the problem is you got to keep your cards close, because you think of it this way: they didn't say which team offered 2 second-round draft picks,
right.
But the only team with more than 1 first-round draft pick was the Calgary Flames. You think about that, Dougie Hamilton doesn't go there, but that's something completely different.
Right. The only other team, I guess, Arizona had 3 first-round picks, but what do they have to? What are they going to trade for Talbot for?
Yeah, they don't need to. They have Mike Smith.
Exactly, but yeah.
But
Edmonton seemed likely. I wanted the 16th pick. I'm shocked.
Especially with Matthew Barzal there. Very good potential center, which some of the Rangers could definitely use.
Yeah.
But you got to think of it this way. Glenn Sather, did he drop the ball a little bit? Yeah, he did. But in the end, he turned around a guy that if Henrik Lundqvist doesn't get hurt, they get nothing for him. Maybe they get like a 3rd-round pick for Cam Talbot. Not even. So they turned them into 5 draft picks, Cam Talbot. So I'm happy with it. Do I think there could have been more? But at this point, I'm nitpicking. So
right.
Hey,
you're more annoyed about how it went down than what you got for it.
Exactly. Good. Anyway, switching gears a little bit here.
The other trade, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. Keeping with the goalie theme here, I think it's an absolute steal. Antti Ranta for Ryan Haggerty. Ryan Haggerty, for those of you who don't know, played for, I believe it was Rensselaer Polytech. He was like 5th in the country with goals, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the Rangers just signed him at the end of the season, not even a draft pick. And they turned him into someone
who's going to play for the Rangers versus someone who wasn't.
Exactly, because Mackenzie Skapski, let's be honest, he's actually having hip surgery, might not even be ready for the beginning of the season.
Right. And he's 20.
He's 20, and he had 2 emergency backup starts against the worst team in the league.
Right.
So he wasn't ready. Antti Ranta is also, I believe, 4 years younger than Cam Talbot, has been very solid.
He's 26, and you look at both guys that were traded, it helps each other. Haggerty is another prospect for Chicago because they're cap strapped. Maybe they want cheaper guys. I don't know.
It's just that at this point, Ranta was the odd man out there with Corey Crawford and a cheaper, younger Scott Darling. So he's
younger.
I think he is. Either at the same age. Either way, Scott Darling was towards the end of the season. He played better for them. Either way, but
almost better than Crawford.
Yeah, almost better than Crawford is right. But do I like that? I think that's the steal of the draft. I don't think people are talking about that nearly enough, especially because Ryan Haggerty is really no skin off the Rangers' back. So don't mind it. Other trade, obviously, got to talk about Carl Hagelin. I mean, it's a trade I don't want to like, but I absolutely do like.
I like it.
I do too.
You're going into this offseason looking at, you have to pay Derek Stepan. You had to pay, well, not anymore. You had to pay Carl Hagelin. And then you got to pay JT Millard, Jesper Fast, and you have Chris Kreider coming up next year.
Yeah, and Chris Kreider's going to want a lot of money.
Right, as long as Rick Nash is on the books for that, $7.8 million or whatever he's got going for the next few years, you got to move money somewhere. Hagelin was the money that they chose to move, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and especially to get back,
we'll get to it, but they get back Emerson
Edom,
Emerson
Edom, I believe. But either way. People are talking.
Fast.
Yeah, either way, people. I mean, obviously he's a fan favorite, Carl Hagelin, but you can't. It's a business decision. It's an absolute business decision, and the fact that Carl Hagelin could have walked for nothing, and instead the Rangers turned it into a draft pick, a 2nd-round draft pick, and they turned it into Emerson Edom, a former first rounder, I believe, 29th selection by the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
He's 22, 23, I don't remember off the top of my head.
He's coming off his entry-level contract, and he's going to be cheaper than Carl Hagelin. That's all.
He's going to sign for like 1.5 for 1 or 2 years. And the kid's got tremendous potential. I don't know if any... I keep showing everybody who doesn't believe the goal last year he scored against Winnipeg that is... just absolutely outstanding. Very talented. Not as fast as Carl Hagelin, but a bigger body and has great hands. I've seen a lot of people talk about how he didn't have great points. He only had 10 points. But the problem is they gave Edom the JT Miller treatment where they were like, well, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. But when you're up, you're on the fourth line.
It's also Anaheim that was doing that. Anaheim stacked on offense.
Exactly. They didn't need him.
They don't, exactly. And I'm not, honestly, I'm curious as to how much money Hagelin's going to get from Anaheim and where he's going to fit in on that team.
That's a good question. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. That's all speculation of a team that, to be honest with you, I really don't care about. Carl Hagelin, I wish him the best out there, obviously, just like Cam Talbot. But he'll probably be on like a 3rd line, maybe even a 2nd line guy. He might actually even play on the 1st line pairing with Perry and Getzlaf because I think he might be able to.
I think that's wishful thinking. I doubt it.
But I mean, Matt Bolesky played with them most of the year, and they couldn't find that guy. I think it's possible, but who knows at this point?
Yeah.
As far as picks go, we're really going to focus on, we could go all day about, nitpick these 2 guys, but we really only concentrated on 2 guys. For me, I did a little research on their
the 2 guys that will actually probably play in the NHL.
Yeah.
The rest are...
Ryan Gropp. I looked up a little bit of film. I wish I could say I knew more about him. I really
We also don't live in
Seattle, so... Yeah. Bigger body, kind of. I would honestly say he plays a lot like like a Matt Bolesky, maybe like a I don't want to say Rick Nash because he's not a great skater as Rick Nash is, but he's a guy. Most of his goals he likes to pick up the trash from the net, and that's kind of what the Rangers need. And I'm not
on Seattle. It was pretty much him and
Matthew Barzal.
Right.
So I mean, just looking at his goal totals and point totals, just real quick. He had
some Mike Francesa dead air as he looks the stats up.
Yeah, he also he was a 30-goal scorer with 28 assists. Not terrible for a guy who, is a big body. And 30 goals is a lot, especially when you're playing against that elite talent in the WHL. So, I don't mind it. And you had Kovacs, I believe?
Yeah, in the third round now.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'm reading a lot about this guy.
They moved down to get him.
Yeah, they got him when they traded with Washington, I believe.
Right.
I'm reading a little bit about him, saying he's kind of like a Rangers type guy, kind of like a Jesper Foss type of guy.
Sure.
He's pretty good on the offensive end. We don't know too much about him. We're not going to sit here and say we follow this guy his whole
Again,
career.
you're talking about second, third round picks when the draft is a crapshoot. Yeah, no. You pick in the first round, you could end up with Sidney Crosby, or you could end up with James Shepard.
Exactly. So overall, Rangers draft grade, I'd say probably B plus on my end here because
I'll say a B. You could have done better with the Talbot move.
But then again,
something.
But then you above and beyond with your Carl Hagelin move and especially your Ryan Haggerty move.
Your top two picks you drafted well. Yeah, I'll give him a B. Sure.
Yeah. Either way, at this point, only time will tell with prospects. You could. Yeah. I don't know enough about any of these guys to sit and say
they don't play by November. I want them out.
Yeah, exactly. So
follow us on Twitter at NYR Breakdown and our website nyrbreakdown.wordpress.com. When I feel like spending money, the WordPress part of that might be gone. But for now, I don't care.
All right. Well,
mainly follow the Twitter because all the links are there, and so who cares what the website is?
Exactly. You mainly use that Twitter. I mean, I'm pretty much on it all day. So give us a look, spread the word, and we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.